So, da bin ich wieder. Heutige Datum. Es ist 18 Uhr auf jeden Fall. I don't know. Moment. Schauen wir mal auf die Kamera. Es ist der 25.02.2020, 17:56 Uhr. Aha. Today's date is the 25th, 2nd, 2020. It's now 5:56 p.m. Wasn't something cool. So, here I am again. Also, today I've had some hopes again. I rode to a city in Erlangen, north of Nuremberg. I hoped to get into the microbiology, laboratory for people like me. But unfortunately, I eventually found out that it's not for patients. It's a study there, like a facility. Okay, like a facility to study microbiology and this kind of crap, So those emails I've sent there were again for nothing. And I wrote again my professor, doctor, in the town where I used to go visit her. She did an excellent job, figuring out my borreliosis and some other stuff, except for dermatologists. Oh yes, in that city, that they have a skin clinic there, So skin and dermatology, I thought like, oh no, not again. So okay. Then like I said, I wrote that professor again. I asked her if, she could ask her big boss to continue on my mission to figure out what these eggs are. Because there's another guy who in one of my somewhere on my account, he left a note like in German that I would need if us having borreliosis. It says in the report, it says it's a chronic borreliosis that I have, also Lyme disease. It's it's not acute, and I will have to take a lot of antibiotica, and also yes, there's a cream, he said, to use that cream. Actually, that cream, what it is for is, I think it's called salicylate something. It's a prescription, and this cream is actually used. It's a Vaseline, yes. It's a salicine Vaseline, something like that. I have to check this again. And what it is normally used for is when you have, it's called in German Hornhaut. Horn is like not horny, but similarly spelled. It's spelled horn is HORN, and then comes skin. So just Google it and what it means. That is, for instance, I've explained that in past clips already. When, for instance, when you're wearing some kind of shoes and they're too tight and something like that, and you're doing it over and over again, then you get this kind of thick skin underneath your feet, So eventually some people and older people may need to grind it down, they have these special stones and to grind it down, so, And it's similar to this here. This here. But this is a wart, but it looks like very similar to Hornhaut, Okay, I don't have Hornhaut here. So, and that cream is actually used for that. But he said, he wrote that I may use that for my on my head, to use it for against biofilm, So eventually the biofilm will just fall off. I hope so, because I thought about it quite a long time. Like last night, like during 8 or 9 hours doing this scraping down, and all this shit. What happened was I realized that because I have biofilm, a lot of it there, but this new area, like when you put your glasses on, your glasses fits perfect your ear. and just above the frame of it, you know, you have this kind of bump of this, you know, so it fits perfectly your your glasses perfectly. So with this bump, you know, I scraped off today again. I have to do this every day, looks like it. And it had something like a fresh new biofilm on it, you know. It was almost hard. And after I've cleaned it up, you know, I've washed it off. I put some wound flushing liquid over it, and then using paper towels, you know, to get it soaked off, and then over and over again until it gets really dry. So I have nice dry hair like this. Using the comb, going through it a few times. It's a long way, you know, a long procedure. And after I was done with it and it was nice and dry, I also realized, yeah, like I've realized that already, that I don't seem to be having any skin anymore. Yeah, right there on that area and behind my ears. You know, there's just this layer of, very thin layer of like crust. Like I've explained it before in a couple of videos back, you know. Like back then when this Staphylococcus aureus was working really hard on me. So these are some scars, little ones left over. Or here are some scars still occurring, you know. So Staphylococcus aureus, I've heard from my doctor, it's hard to get rid of. So I have to use antibiotics and so on. And what was I talking about? I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. Staphylococcus. What were we talking about? About biofilm. I forgot. You see how I'm swaying back and forth? This is well, I've said one time it's because of Kundalini is causing that. I don't know if it's Kundalini causing that. When I started doing that is, well, I did that before I knew about Morgellons, but then when I saw Morgellons dance like that, for instance, the white Morgellons, you know, they've bitten itself into their flesh, for instance, and the tail is sticking up, and they're kind of swaying like that, you know, like I've explained that also many times. This is the kind of feeling like when you enjoy something, you know, yeah, or you're bored, you know, like, just like elephants when they're hooked up on chains, like a chain gang, you know, and they're swaying back and forth because, you know, they don't know what to do with their life, you know. If they had a gun, I think they'd shot themselves a long time ago. It's horrible to be locked up like that. And swaying back and forth, yeah. So whenever I do this, so when I'm doing this kind of, putting out these eggs out, you know, when I'm standing up, then I'm doing this, going back and forth, going forth. I don't know, it's like a meditative thing or so. I don't know. And when I'm sitting down, it's like those Jews are meditating, you know, like going like that all the time, all the time. This is like, I don't know. I think I'm going nuts or so. And this is just too much. So yeah, I was scraping this down. Okay, and after I cleaned it, there we go. After I cleaned it, I felt a few times already. Like I said, I have no skin anymore down there. Yeah, like this skin here, there's nothing there. It's just dry. It's dry. And when I go with the fingernails over it, it's quite rough. There are places there, like seen in other clips, you know, where you see these kind of little craters in it, holes in it, where the eggs were stuck in there. When I took off the biofilm, you know, it was kind of slippery. Strange, né? So glitchy, slippery. And then eventually, when I cleaned everything, you know, then I checked it again with the finger, going millimeter for millimeter, you know, and pressing it down, you know, over and over again, until I somewhere crashed into it, and it felt like there were some eggs there. So I was thinking, like, these eggs may be eggs, first of all. Secondly, they may have something to do with Morgellons. You know, like, I don't know what. And this is burning. Why is this burning now? This is burning now. Here, right there. It's right there because it's moving here. It's burning. It's burning, but at the same time it's hurting. but it tells me I have to crunch into it because there's some new blisters there. You know, this is total destruction, psychological destruction. Okay, so back to this Morgellon stuff. Whatever it is, it's breeding there, laying these eggs into these holes, and then covering it with biofilm, so I can't get onto it, you know.